Hello everyone, welcome to Uncommon Literature. My name is Nadeem Khan. Today we are going to learn I Felt a Funeral in My Brain by Emily Dickinson. Since Emily Dickinson is a poet who has immensely written in the theme of death, this poem also deals with the same theme. And before moving to the poem, let us first understand what the poem is about. Here the poet explores the idea of what it would like to be conscious after death, and she experiences her own death in full consciousness. So what the scenario is that she is dead, but she is conscious of what is going around her, and the poem talks about that experience only. So let us start the poem. She starts, I felt a funeral in my brain. So you have to just understand one thing, that how gradually she will lead us and to herself to the realization that she is dead now. So the scenario is that she is dead. The mourners have gathered around her corpse. They are preparing to bury her in the graveyard. There are drums going on, which is a part of one custom, I believe. So they are preparing for her burial. So let us start. So she says, as the title of the poem also suggests, I felt a funeral in my brain and mourners to and fro. So you have to understand one thing, she does not mention anywhere that she saw. She will only say that she felt or she heard, because she is inside the coffin. She cannot see anything. She is dead, her eyes are closed, and she is unable to see because of that reason. So she felt a funeral, okay, and mourners to and fro. So she also felt that mourners are the people who come on somebody's death. So they are moving from here to there, and they are kept, they are treading from one place to another. Treading means they are moving from one place to another, they are walking. And till it seemed, again the word is seemed, that it seemed, and she is not sure about it, she is unsure, that it seemed that sense was breaking through. The line means sense was breaking through means that she was trying to understand what the situation was around her. So she was just trying to capture this situation through her sense. So sense was breaking through means that she was trying to interpret what is going on around her. In the next stanza we move, and when they all were seated, she is talking about the mourners, when they all came and they sat, a service like a drum kept beating till I thought. So there was a kind of service, or you can call it a custom, that drumming, the drums were kept beating till I thought my mind was going numb. So when this custom is going on, she is realizing again that her mind is numb, her mind is going unconscious. Okay, so in the last line of first stanza she said the sense was breaking through, and in the last line of second stanza she said my mind was going numb. So the realization is coming to her gradually. Let us move to the next stanza now. And then I heard them lift a box. So obviously this box is a coffin in which she is lying. So she heard the sound. Again I mentioned that she is saying I heard. She heard the sound of lifting the coffin and creak across my soul with those same boots of lead again. Then space began to toll. So here she wants to say that there was a creak across my soul. So when the coffin was lifted, there was some creak in her soul. So there was the realization in her soul that her body is dead now. Creek here is referred to the realization to the soul. With those same boots of lead, again boots of lead here means the people who are bearing her coffin, they are referred only to their boots. Why? Because she cannot see them, she can only hear the sound which their boots are making. Then space began to toll. So the last line here means that the space, she was also feeling the movement of the coffin. Okay, moving to the next stanza. As all the heavens were a bell. This is the most beautiful metaphor in the whole poem, so let us just focus here. As all the heavens were a bell, and being but an ear. So understand what she is trying to say. She is saying that when I was being carried in that coffin, I was reduced only to an ear, because she could not see anything, she could not speak anything, she could only hear. So she has been reduced to an ear, and she was hearing that the heaven was calling her by ringing its bells. So I read these lines again. As all the heavens were a bell, and being she is using for herself, being but an ear, and I, these two lines are also very beautiful, and I and silence. So here in this line she will talk about that she and silence, they were in a strange race. Okay, I and silence, some strange race, wreaked solitary here. So basically she is no more in the human race, she is in a race with silence. What you can understand by this line is that the silence is not letting her speak, they are in a sort of race with each other. So they are competing. Whenever she tries to speak, the silence overcomes her and she remains quiet, and she is wreaked and she is solitary here. Let us move to the last stanza of this poem, when she will completely realize what is going on around her. And then in the last stanza you have to understand that this imagery would be of her burial, when her coffin is being taken down to the grave in the ground. So this imagery she will create through these lines. And then a plank. I have mentioned also in the picture. You can see plank is a wooden plank, or it is used in the grave when the coffin is laid in the ground. So then a plank in reason broke. So you can understand this line is really important, that when the plank was laid down in her grave, this broke completely into reason, meaning that this made her fully aware about her death, that she is dead now. That is why she is unable to see anything, that is why she is unable to speak anything, and that is why silence is winning over her. And I dropped down and down. So I dropped down meaning that her coffin was being carried under the ground in the grave, and hit a world. So you can see that she is using hit a world, like the ground in the grave she means by this, and hit a world at every plunge. At every plunge means that as she is going down and down, she is feeling that she is hitting the world, and finished knowing. So as soon as she reached the bottom of that grave, her knowing was over there, meaning that till now she was observing what is happening around her, but as soon as she was laid there, every knowing, whatever she was hearing, whatever she was feeling, observing, everything ended there. And that is why the poem is incomplete, like there is no proper ending to the poem, and it just ends with the one word then. So maybe she wanted to say something more, but as we know that she is dead now, so she was laid in her grave for for resting in the afterlife, you can call it. So the poem is abundant with beautiful imageries. It is little complex, but at the same time, if you go through it, you can understand it very easily. So with this, we have completed this poem.